Welcome to the Full Armor of Game, episode 49. And this is going to be about attracting women by using what I call the cookie jar theory, aka using boundaries, setting boundaries in order to raise your attraction with women that you interact with. So, for all you guys out there that have multiple questions about setting boundaries, I know we already did a podcast on setting boundaries. So, this is hopefully going to just give your mind a different way to see interacting with women and setting boundaries with women to build her attraction up.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. This is Sparta!
Put on the whole armor of
game.
This is where we fight! On these shield boys!
How this theory came up is I was on the middle of a coaching call with a guy named Chris. And to let everybody know, if you ever book a coaching session with me or a coaching package, I will never share any of our recordings. I always give you an option. If you want to record the session for your own sake, I give you that option. I can record it for you, but I will never take the recordings. However, Chris wanted his session recorded, and in the middle, this whole thing came up, the cookie jar theory. And so I was like, hey, Chris, I think a lot of guys could benefit from this. Do you mind if we just share this piece from it? He was like, nope, no problem at all. So again, shout out to Chris from this. And guys, hopefully this helps you set better boundaries with women and, have a little more fun attracting women out there by thinking of it in this cookie jar theory way. Attracting women, the cookie jar theory. I'm going to try to give you a new way of interacting with women to attract women and what I am now calling the cookie jar theory. So this is a lot of credit goes to my man Chris, aka Spartan Prince. We had a personal coaching session, and we were discussing something. And then, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a little clip of part of our session that came across what we talked about is like the cookie jar theory. So I'm going to play the clip for you, and remember, this just came up completely organically. So it's not always the perfectly thought out, but I'm going to let you hear that clip, get your own kind of idea of it, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to come back in here with my thoughts a little more collected and give you more of a recap of the cookie jar theory. Enjoy it, and you can use this with women all around you all the time now. I kind of see it almost like this. Women are like a kid that is going to the pantry in their house, and it's like if you don't label the jar saying you can't have this, or if you don't put a rule down, a standard, they are going to reach their hand in every single jar, and they're just going to get into all sorts of mischief. The way that I'm kind of seeing this with you is like when a girl opens up a jar, like a conversation.
Yeah.
It's almost like, let's just say that she sticks her hand in this like cookie jar here, and this one was about you not reaching out to her. Okay? So this is one that's come up with you before, like you're not reaching out. So let's say you not reaching out, whatever.
Yeah.
So she reaches her hand in and she decides she's going to grab this cookie. And so she says, hey, I can be upset with you. My friends tell me I can be upset with you because you're not reaching out. Every other guy's reaching out. Why aren't you reaching out? I can be upset. So she's going to reach in and she's going to keep taking these cookies until you as the parent set a rule on this. You put your standard on this. And so the way that I would do that is I'm always the smiley. You're always the happy but firm parent. This is all coming to me right now, so hopefully this makes sense. Okay, so like she's reaching in and you're just like, nah. But you're not going to scream at her. You're not going to yell at her. You're just like, no, that's you know what? That's not okay.
Yeah.
Like if she pushes something that you can feel it too, because in the way that I know this is true is because what's going to happen is she's going to get in here and she's going to see how you react. If she says that, hey, you're not reaching out to me, and you as the parent go, oh, you're right, that's my fault. Yeah. What you're doing as the parent is you're justifying her eating that cookie.
Right.
You're giving her an okay to eat that cookie. And so what she will do is she's next time is going to try to take 2 cookies. So she knows if I'm mad at Chris for anything, I can reach into this cookie jar and I can make Chris feel guilty until he does something I want. And she's going to get 2 cookies out of you. At Christmas time, she's going to get 6 times the presents of all the other kids because she's manipulating you.
Right.
So you as the parent, you decide when she reaches into a cookie jar, you have to be firm. And this is why when if I say to a guy like, hey, if a girl was going to treat me one way and I just say, hey, I'm happy living my life, I don't need you in my life, I'm enjoying my life, I don't need you, you're a bonus to it. If I say that, but then it's Saturday night and I go, man, my life sucks without her, and I text her and go, hey, I want to see you, I miss you. I literally lost my role as a parent there. She no longer can trust, and that cookie jar is wide open. It's way harder to like put a rule on the cookie jar after you've already broken your own rule.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's what the mistake that I made in that conversation is kind of right there on the justifying her behavior almost in a way. Like
absolutely.
I'm agreeing with the fact that I haven't reached out to you and that was a problem. So, gotcha. All right.
It's a problem when you both agree it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But if she thinks it's a problem and you don't, who says it's a problem?
Right. Okay.
And that's where I go, hey, if I trust the guy is going to have morals about it, I'm very happy to instill that mindset in a guy because you know the morals of right and wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like if you're doing something outrageous to her and you go, well, it's not, I don't think it's wrong. It's like, I would check you on that. That would be, if it's hurting her, that's wrong. But this is not wrong with what you're doing at all. Like, what I think you did a good job on with the cookie jar here. She tried to reach into this cookie jar. It's, who are you seeing?
Yeah.
Who are you seeing? She tried to reach into that cookie jar, Chris. Who you seeing? And what a lot of guys do is they justify this. Oh, I'm not seeing anyone because if I was, you should be mad at me and all that. They put themselves in this guilty. They justify her anger or her snooping into that cookie jar. Yeah, the way you answer it, you dance around or you just laugh. You're never upset though. You're just laughing. You're just like, whatever. Hey, nah, that's not a serious question. Move on. Let's talk about something real. Like I can literally say that to girls, and I don't know how easy that is to say. I guess you have to be really comfortable to say that, but I really can just say, nah, that's not a serious question. Get out of here. Don't even start that one with me. Like, let's just move on from that. That's not real. And it's so funny. And because I was a teacher, I see when you set boundaries with kids, boom, it happens. You see when they follow them. Once you set that standard, they know it, they follow it. You can actually see when it's in place. Same with women. I kid you not. It's like, I just go, no, don't pull that on me. Don't act like that. Like, we're going to have fun tonight. I don't want this drama. Are you cool with that? We're going to hang out and have no drama tonight. Is that fine? Fine. Okay. And I go, all right, we're having fun from here on out. Pinky promise me. And if you bring up any drama, then you have to take an article of clothing off. Like those are the type of games I will say and play. And when you have that ownership, you set the cookie jar, you set the rules, and then you can give her the cookies as rewards, basically. That's kind of when we get into the compliments are rewards type thing. It's like, she wants this compliment. She wants this little... And so what girls will do... Actually, this, I don't know if this can completely connect, but when girls want compliments, normally they will poke a hive that they can make a guy feel guilty on. Why aren't you reaching out? And then they can get the compliment they want because they're making you feel guilty. You come over here. I'm so sorry. I'm beautiful. You know, you're so beautiful. I should have known better. They get their compliment. And then the whole game is just manipulation for them. That's fun for them. Not in an evil way. It's not like women consciously know this, but that engages them. So in that same way, with women, if they know that they have to get compliments a certain way, and I don't let them get compliments in any of these nonsense ways. She knows the way to get my in my compliment cookie jar. It was like send me nudes, be really nice to me, give me a back rub. All of these things, be really sweet. Those are how she gets my compliment cookie jar. Not any of these other ways, but because I'm so firm on my rules, she has to come to this cookie jar as opposed to getting it from trying to like manipulate into guilt.
Okay, and so she has to play by your rules in order to get the cookies.
Exactly. In order to get the cookies, she's got to play by your rules if she wants the cookies. And a very good distinction on that, though, is that some guys hear this, right? And they go, well, and if I tell a guy, well, you're texting back a little quickly, she's going to see neediness. He goes, no, I don't care. I want to text her back. She has to play by my rules. And this is where I got to go, okay, man, but you have to understand, you have to create the value of your cookies or she won't want any. Right? If they're 2-week-old, gross, moldy cookies, and she could get a pack of Chips Ahoy freshly sealed cookies over here, she's not going to want your cookies. So that's fine, texting her back all that, but she won't want them. So as long as the way that you're texting her all that, you value your cookies, is that we're relating to it, then absolutely what you said, it's your way or the highway for that, but it's not that like negative, like you're not going to get any of this, I'm angry at you. It's like, I'm happy, these are great cookies and I could share. Do you want one? If you want a cookie, you're going to have to play by my rules and have fun, or else I'm going to eat these cookies by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a recap here for the cookie jar theory. More of something you can take away and start using. Here's how I see it. Basically, think of women like children. So you think of a child going to the pantry is how I referred to it. And now just think, basically, you own all of these cookie jars. And each of your own cookie jar is a separate conversation or topic. What's going to happen is women, think of them like an innocent kid. They're going to keep on reaching into your cookie jars and taking more until you, is the owner of these cookie jars, is the stern parent, slap their hand away and kind of go, no. Too many. You can't have that many. No. That's not how this works. You set firm boundaries and then they will follow them. So there you go. That's kind of the recap of this with women. When something comes up, if she gets mad at you about something, if you buy into that, if she says, you don't text me enough, and you go, oh, I don't, I'm so sorry, that right there is open up your cookie jar and you're going, here, take cookies out of this little texting jar here. And then she will keep on taking. She'll find reasons to get mad at you. Well, you should do this, you should. And then she basically just is owning your cookie jar. That is what I mean by this. You got to put a standard on it. It's not a problem unless you also think it's a problem. You're a strong man and you set that standard on your cookie jar and you guard your cookie jar. And then what happens is once you guard it and there's those guidelines, then women will go, okay, I like this guy. This is fun. And then you can slowly remove the lid of the jar and give her a little bit at a time. And that's what women want. They want to fall in love slowly over time by winning a guy's heart over. They don't want a guy to just open up the cookie jar, flood her with everything right away. She wants to earn it. She wants a guy that puts stern boundaries up. So there you go. The cookie jar theory. Let me know what you think about that. Remember, this is kind of brand new in my head. Hopefully it helps you relate to women. Okay, coming back in here, guys, is a recap. I want to try to tie everything kind of together to make dating women, relationships with women, understanding women easier, not harder. I don't want to overcomplicate things. So take what works for you. Hopefully, this gives you a new perspective. If it doesn't, throw it out. But how we can relate this whole idea of the cookie jar theory with the overall blueprint. So, like when I talked about masterful seduction, which, by the way, that is my 4 week live seminar series. We're doing Zoom, 4 weeks of brand new content. This is where I'm going to take you through what I believe is the absolute master class in seducing women and getting long-term devotion from women. So when I talked about that a few podcast episodes ago, Masterful Seduction, again, starting August 12th. So join by checking out the link in the bio. Everyone that is listening that has joined already, I will be sending out an email in the next few days, giving you more details about everything that's going to be, going on with this. But this whole idea of masterful seduction, let's link the cookie jar theory. So again, the idea is that basically women are going to keep reaching in and taking cookies from the cookie jar until you as the man set boundaries and are basically like, no, hey, that's enough cookies for you. You can't, it's like the kid, like, kids growing up, I would have eaten cookies every day for every meal if my parents let me, but they didn't. They set boundaries. So, right, as a man, you've got to set boundaries on things in your life, in your interpersonal dynamics with women, so that she knows she can't just reach in and eat cookies all day long for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when she's dealing with you. It's for her own good. So you're putting boundaries on her. And that raises a woman's attraction level for you because she's like, oh, this is interesting. I can't get away with this like I can with most guys. And then she's like, this is kind of interesting, fun. She's got to stay on her toes instead of just getting cookies thrown at her from all the beta men out there. So, masterful seduction means that you want to get a woman to be chasing, pursuing, and initiating with you in three different stages, three categories. The communication stage, which that has to do with all of your communication that you do when you're not in person with her. Think of texting, dating app messaging, WhatsApp, phone calls, FaceTime, Skype, all of that communication when you're not in person. That is one stage of the game. I'm going to give you guys one idea in the communication stage of how you can set up a cookie jar theory type trap, we could say, with a woman, or just understanding this idea. With texting, we'll use that piece in the communication zone. You're texting a woman, and I talk about mirror texting timing. So we're going to just think of mirror texting timing for this example. In any interaction between a man and a woman, one woman could be texting 10, 15, 25, 50 different guys, but the interactions with all of those men will be different based on what these guys are putting up with from these women. What guys are setting good cookie jar boundaries and what guys are not. I could be texting the same girl as you listening to this podcast, and we'll probably get a completely different interaction and response with the same exact woman just by different texting methods. For most men have to play the chasing and pursuing women game, right? Most guys are like, well, I got to keep pursuing, keep trying until she agrees to go out with me. What happens then also with texting is most women can be lazy texters with most men. So most men will keep pushing, keep pursuing, keep initiating with women through texting, even if that woman isn't giving them much back. She becomes a lazy texter. She's just like, oh, I can just eat cookies from this texting cookie jar all day long. This guy's not setting any boundaries on me. Well, so how do you set a boundary with a woman through texting? We always say that talk is cheap with women. So you got to show her, not tell her. So a boundary that I set with all women is mirror texting timing, meaning that if a woman wants a text response from me, I will never reply faster than it takes her to reply to my last text. If a woman wants a timely response from me, If a woman is wants to hear from me within 15 minutes, if she takes an hour to reply to my last message, there is a 0% chance she will ever hear from me within 15 minutes because I'm going to take at least an hour or longer to respond to her. And you see why this texting cookie jar is different with every man and every woman because that woman could text one guy and he's replying, within a minute or two every time she texts him. So that girl gets lazy with him. She's like, I can do whatever I want and just keep taking cookies out of his cookie jar because he has no, he's just coming back at me anytime. He's not making me work at all. Versus with me, if that same girl texts me and she replies 2 hours to my text, I text her and she replies 2 hours later. She might think that I'm going to be like every other beta guy and just, come back in 10 or 15 minutes later and give her a response, give her a cookie. But I won't. What I'll do is I'll go, oh, she waited 2 hours. In my mind, I go, all right, I'm giving her the exact amount of space she's telling me she wants me to give her. So I'm going to wait at least 2 hours, probably 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll reply. And so now this girl learns that when she's texting me, my texting cookie jar, she starts to learn, not by me telling her. I don't ever say, you got to reply quickly if you want a response from me. I show her that. By texting me over a period of time, she learns if I want a quick reply from Adam, the only chance I have is to reply really quickly when he texts me. And then she starts to be engaged in our conversation. She starts to wait for my text messages because she's having to work. There's a cookie jar, game going on. She's like trying to reach in, thinking she's gonna get a cookie, and I'm like, nah, the jar's closed, right? I'm not sending her a text until she puts extra effort in. So now this becomes fun for her. It's a challenge for her. And now she's like, this is way more fun than all these boring guys that just throw cookies at me when I'm not even, on my best behavior. So now you stand out from other men just from one little simple change with your texting by waiting, mirroring the amount of time, and always replying slower than she replies to you. That is one little simple trick, and that will set you apart from most guys out there because these guys don't have any boundaries on their texting. They just keep texting women back, even when those women aren't deserving it because they're not putting any effort in. Let's move on to the second zone, is what I call the hangout zone. And the hangout zone is anytime you're in person with a woman, but we're not talking about getting sexual. So it's like you're in the car with a woman, you're in the same environment, you're hanging out, you're on a first date with a woman, you're at a social gathering with another woman, a party, and this woman's there. It's this energy of how do you guys interact with each other when you're in person, but it's not sexual. With a woman's hypergamy, she always needs to look up to a man to respect him. So, in person in the hangout zone, you want to make a woman initiate, kind of chase and pursue that energy from her, right? You want her to be the one leaning in. You want her to be the one like trying to start conversations with you if you're at a party. You don't want to be the guy following her around at a party trying to just get a, oh, maybe she'll see me and just keep following around. Maybe she'll talk to me now and just waiting around for her. You do not want to be that guy, that pursuer, that type of energy. You want her to think, wow, this guy has fun on his own. He can live without me. And when she sees that, then she starts to scoot closer to you and she starts to kind of initiate, and that becomes her energy where she almost chases you. It's a very subtle energy. There's a lot of different ways I could break this down, but the tip I'll give you guys in regards to the cookie jar theory is, let's say I'm on a date with a woman and we are in the middle of a conversation, and most women kind of expect that it's on men to entertain them. It's on men to, lead the conversations and do this and that and kind of like really like take charge and all that. So if I'm sitting there with a woman and we have a pause, an awkward silence, in the past, what I would have done is I would have that was actually one of my biggest fears before going on dates with women. Like when I was really, trying to learn game, it was I was always scared of what to do if there's an awkward silence. I don't know what to do, and I would get so nervous for that to happen. I'd have all these, topics lined up in my mind. I'd have all these lines ready just so there was never an awkward silence. But if I'm always the one worried about an awkward silence and how to break it and how to entertain a woman, in that hangout zone, that's kind of me caring more, me initiating, me caring more about the interaction than she does, which would be giving her the power. I know these are subtle little power dynamics, but it all matters. So the mindset change that I've made that you guys can make is that, again, I go on dates now and I'm not worried about an awkward silence, because if there's an awkward silence, what I will do is I will sit back in my chair. I don't get nervous. I actually relax. I get back, sit back in my chair and just relax. And in my head, I start counting to 10. 1,000, 2, 1,000 in my head. And in my head, I'm doing this and I'm kind of like almost laughing to myself. And I'm almost hoping that there's an awkward silence now. I used to fear an awkward silence. And now it's like I almost hope there's an awkward silence, because now I'm going to throw it back at this girl and kind of challenge her a little bit and just see how she reacts. And so that part is fun for me now. I used to fear awkward silences and felt like it was my job to, get us out of them. Now I sit back, I count to 10 in my head. And if it's an awkward silence that long, then I'll come in and I'll just say, and it won't be nervous at all, but I'll just say, whoa, that was a super long, awkward silence. Like, how are you going to get us out of this? How did you let us get to this point? And I'll say it like that, where I'm putting all the blame on her in a playful way. So instead of me fearing it and coming in and kind of like twiddling my thumbs and being like, what do you do for work? And just fumbling over a question, I just sit back, relax, and then I tease her about it. And I'm basically like, come on, how did you let us get to that? That was like at least 10 seconds of awkwardness. I can't believe it. And then I'll, be like, you better not let that happen again. Again, playfully challenging her or teasing her. And how this relates to the cookie jar theory is, again, most women just sit back on dates expecting men to entertain them. Guys are just throwing cookies at women for no reason. She doesn't have to do any work, just throws cookies at her. Instead, when I'm on a date with a girl and awkward silence comes and she's expecting I'm going to throw a cookie at her, and instead I'm leaning back in my chair holding my jar of cookies, and I'm just sitting here eating these cookies to myself, smirking, kind of laughing to myself like, how is this girl going to get us out of this awkward silence? Do you see the difference in energy there? Instead of me working hard to like, oh, I care so much about if you like me and if there's an awkward silence, instead now I sit back and I go, oh, let's see how this girl gets us out of this. Let's see how she rebounds. Let's see if she's a good conversationalist. And I just laugh and kind of put it completely on her. And now this woman learns, oh, I got to be on my toes with Adam. I don't want to deal with another awkward silence. He's going to make me get us out of this. So now she's like, I've got to be ready. I've got to be in tune to the conversation so we don't have another awkward silence. So she's learning that my cookie jar with conversations is she can't just be sitting back being lazy doing nothing. She better be ready to go, or else I'm going to freeze her out and challenge her and make her, entertain me. That's the energy that I give her. So then she learns to be more engaging, more a better conversationalist when I'm with her. Again, that's one tiny example in the hangout zone. But now let's go to the last one. Masterful seduction, by far the most important one, and by far the least talked about and the least understood by all men on this planet, is the sexual zone. This third stage that you have with women, the sexual zone, is all about sexual energy. If you guys are starting to kiss, you're feeling her up, you're getting to second, third base, you're going for sex, foreplay. Even if you go with sexting a woman, even though it's through the phone, any type of sexual energy is in this category, the sexual zone. It's any type of sexual energy between you and a woman. And again, most guys on this planet are absolutely clueless to this. The way in the sexual zone that most guys do it is most guys look at sex as a reward for the man. So most guys look at sex as their like, oh, I worked so hard and she gave me sex. They look at it is that the woman holds all the power and is she going to let me sleep with her? That's how most guys look at sex. And I get it. I understand. That's how we're raised. That's how society is. And of course, you never force yourself on a woman. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that sex is not some gift that a woman gives me. Sex is an equal exchange between me and her. And even more than that, I actually think I need sex less than the women I hang out with. That is my energy. I need sex less than she does. And so sex is really actually a reward that I give her. That is how my mindset has evolved over the years. And even if that sounds crazy to you guys, that is the mindset that you want. In the more experience you have with women, that's a mindset that kind of progressively just comes. But that is the one you want to strive for. Sex is not some reward a woman gives you, because if you live that way, even if you're playing the game right, all of a sudden it gets to sex, and now that woman is in complete control, complete power, and then she can start withholding it from you. Oh, she's mad at you. You didn't take her to the concert. You didn't buy her $600 Taylor Swift tickets. You're not getting sex anymore because she holds all the power. So again, the sexual zone is so crucial, so huge, and so many guys blow it. They didn't even know there is this game going on, but it's a crucial game. Let's use the sexual zone with the cookie jar theory. The cookie jar theory is that most women know that anytime she wants sex, she can just go for it, and the guys will just open up the cookie jar, dump the cookies out, and say, here, take it all. Here's cookies anytime you want it. Most guys are so eager when it comes to sex that they'll do anything for a little taste of the punani. They'll do anything for a kiss from a girl. Oh, you're gonna let me feel your boob? I'll do anything for you. Most guys are so eager in this sexual stage that women learn that there's no boundaries for them. They can set all the rules. Women don't even think about boundaries with men and sex because it's all like women are like, no, I make the rules. I tell you when we have sex. That's like a woman's mindset. And I get why there's so many thirsty men out there. So of course women are all gonna believe that they're like the sexual gift on earth to everyone. But if a girl meets me, she finds out that my sexual zone cookie jar is far different than other guys. So what will happen, something you guys can use, is you want to be able to start the gas and pump the brakes. Most guys don't know how to pump the brakes when it comes to the sexual side. Most guys, you start kissing a girl and you lose control, and all you're thinking about is how can I get to the next base? How can I get to third base? And now how can I sleep with her? Most guys get clouded by the small head downstairs instead of thinking with the big brain upstairs. So you've got to learn how to be able to pump the brakes sexually, having that discipline. And so how I do this is, you may have heard something along this lines of like one step forward, two steps backwards. And that's the idea that I always will do with anything sexual with a woman. Is if I'm going to take one step forward, if I'm going to initiate, that means that if a girl's giving me all the signs that she's ready to be kissed, I can see those signs, I can take initiative, and I can go in and get that kiss. Boom, I kiss her. All right. But if I kept initiating the kissing throughout the night, throughout the relationship, then all of a sudden I just become all with every other guy in the sexual zone where she has all the power because she sees that I have all gas. Anytime I kiss her, it's all gas. I'm just going to keep initiating kissing her. So she never has to initiate kissing me, right? With most guys, women get lazy sexually, and she's like, nah, this guy can, it's like, I'll make him do all the work. I take one step forward. If I kiss a girl, now I take two steps back, meaning after I kiss a girl, I'm always the first one to pull away. We've talked about that in different podcasts. So if I kiss her, now I'm going to pull away. And then I'm even going to take another step backwards. And I'm going to say something like, whoa, that's all you're getting for now. Right? So that's actually two steps back. I'm pulling backwards with my body and everything. I'm actually getting out of her space. Or pushing her away from me if she's in my space. And then I'm going, whoa, 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 that's all you're getting for now. And I might say something like, I'm not that easy. And I'm really taking a step back now. So now that I initiated and kissed her, I'm immediately taking 2 steps backwards. And this is where discipline is crucial because now what happens is there's a waiting game. Most women think, oh, well, this guy's going to want to kiss me again. And she's like cocky, right? Most guys are simps. Most guys have no sexual control. So after I initiate that first one and she sees that I have the balls to initiate a kiss, now I take 2 steps back and now I go, okay. In my head, I go, now you got to initiate if you want another kiss. That is my mindset. And so now I am pretending like there's no sexual energy between us in a sense. I'm going from kissing her, pushing back, and now whatever else we're doing, if I'm playing a board game with her, I'm focusing on the board game. If we're watching a movie, I'm like, let's get back to this movie. And I'm pretending that I have nothing sexual on my mind now. And now this is where that dance happens because that girl is now going, wait a second, I thought he's going to kiss me again. What's going on? Why isn't he kissing me again? I want to kiss him again. Because I took 1 step forward, but then I pushed the brakes and took 2 steps back. Now she's curious. And now, if you have the discipline, guys, this is where you can actually start to get women initiating, chasing, and pursuing you sexually, even when you start something small with kissing. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And now, throughout the rest of the night, I'm not thirsty. I don't need a kiss from her. I want to watch the rest of this movie, or I want to kick her butt at this video game. I have a mission, and it's not kissing her. It's whatever else we're doing that night together. And so because of that, my mindset is focused on something else. Now she starts to realize, whoa, if I want another cookie from Adam, if I want a sexual cookie from Adam's, sexual cookie jar, how am I going to get one? And she starts to realize maybe I have to snuggle up close to him and then try to kiss him. Maybe I've got to hold his hand and try to warm him up that way. She starts to do all these little initiating moves where she is trying things to figure out how am I going to get another kiss from Adam's cookie jar. And so that is the key right there is once you take those 2 steps back and you have that discipline, you're allowing her the freedom to explore of how to get a cookie from you, how to get another kiss from you. And eventually, if you play it cool, right, that girl will snuggle up all up on me and she'll even look at me. And it's like she'll like look at me and she'll like, be open for me kissing her. And I could easily go in and kiss her right there, but I won't do it. I'll look her in the eyes and kind of give her like a little sly smile. But then I'm looking back at the movie because I'm making her actually get in my space, pull me, kiss me, something like that, where she is very much initiating. And from that moment on, that is how I will play it in the sexual zone. If I'm going to progress forward from kissing to trying to get her shirt off, something like that, I have a whole series of moves where I take 1 step forward and then I take 2 steps back and then I make her start to initiate the next kind of sequence in that sexual zone. If you're hearing this, guys, and this is new to you, it should be new to you. But if you're hearing this and you're not mind blown, and I mean like that, if you're not sitting here going, wait a second, what is this really true? If you're not questioning, like, wait, is this really how it should be, where you're actually getting women to initiate all that? You should be. I'm giving you guys a huge, huge master level tip right there of what the top 1% of men in the world about women know that the 99% of other men don't. 99% of men are eager and they're chasing women sexually. The 1% of men, they realize, no, I'm the prize. We don't just say that and don't mean it. It's like, you don't just say, oh, I'm the prize, and then you just act like a total simp or a beta, like she's the prize. It's like, no, I'm the prize. Even sexually, if she wants sex, she's going to have to work. So if I initiate anything, I take 2 steps back and then I make her start to initiate. That is how you do it. And the guys that are really, really good with women, they know this is true. They understand this is true. Maybe there's a girl in your life that you were not very interested in, and she was doing stuff like this to you. She was overly initiating texting you. She was overly initiating trying to touch you in person or trying to start conversations with you whenever you guys were together in an area. She was overly initiating trying to kiss you and have sex with you. If that's happened to you, understand that same exact energy can happen with every woman, but you've got to teach her that with your cookie jars. You've got to teach her that in each of these three stages: the communication stage, the hangout stage, and the sexual stage. And again, guys, when I sit here and tell you this is like, it's like mind-blowing stuff. This is like it's so complex, but it can, if you understand it in a simple way, it makes everything easier with women. It makes all your decisions easier about what to do or what not to do when you can really understand this framework. And it's in my mind clear. I want it to be as clear as it can in all of your minds. But again, if you're sitting here going, hey, I want to learn more, I'm telling you right now, sign up for Masterful Seduction. It's starting August 12th. That's coming up real soon here. I think it's next Monday. Yeah. And it's going to be 4 weeks of brand new seminar content followed by live Q&A so that you can ask any question you have so that this becomes absolutely clear, because this is crazy how vital this is. And guys just don't understand this. Like, guys just have no clue about this. And it's so pivotal. And then, guys, I got plans. All of you guys already that have joined, I'm in the middle of creating a Masterful Seduction product that is this thing's going on. And I'm taking questions from you guys. I'm hearing feedback. I'm hearing, oh, you guys are confused about this or that. I'm adding to this and making this a complete, beautiful program. So all of you guys joining up now, you're getting the live part. You're getting the first time ever, the brand new. You're getting all of the live Q&A. Plus, all of the questions you have are what I'm going to be listening to make sure that those are answered, to make this the most complete product when I talk about how to actually get a girl devoted to you long term, how to masterfully seduce her. I want guys to be able to understand this in the most simple framework that I can think of, and show you all sorts of examples of how you can do this in your own interactions with women. All right, once again, shout out to Chris for letting us use that cookie jar theory coaching clip. And guys, I will see you guys in Masterful Seduction or inside Players University. Join up Players University if you're not inside, and definitely join Masterful Seduction, the live seminar. It's going to blow your mind. This is going to start August 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And those of you that know me know that if you have more questions, I will stay later because I want you guys to master this, understand this. Register now, get in there now, get that little early discount and create Masterful Seduction, guys. This is what I'm telling you. This is elite level game. This is another tier of game. Link in the bio of the show notes of the podcast, or you can register at textingprince.com/seduction, all lowercase. I will see you guys inside. Remember, August 12th, mark your calendars.